just for the record, these two proposals were posted on the city's website for over a week now, so they have been posted. Any other comments?
I do have a question. I don't know if it's germane at this point in time to raise it.
Again, is it regarding these two items?
Well, it's regarding the Charter Commission and proposals that were forwarded that I haven't heard anything about through any of the Charter Commission meetings.
Sure. By definition, items that were proposed were discussed. All items that were proposed were, in fact, discussed. And if they are not being proposed now for inclusion in the charter, it means the commission did not decide to move it forward. All items that were received
discussions were held at your own.
Let me make it clearer for you. This has been said repeatedly. That's why I lose my patience. It was the same thing was said last year at the public hearings. I'll say it again this time. The commission doesn't take any official action until its last meeting. It is a body that deliberates. It just listens to proposals that it receives from all sources. Some of them come from letters from the public. The commission every year goes out and solicits from the city council, writes a letter, puts it out to the public, says we're interested in proposals. Then you sit down and talk about it. If you weren't here at the meeting, can't help that you were here at the meeting when these were discussed. The commission does not turn around and take, and there's no action being proposed even here. These are matters that are possible to go out to the public. There's no official action of this commission until it sits down and adopts a report that says what it is going to propose and what it is not going to propose, and it actually proposes something for the ballot. It takes one official action at one meeting. That's all that it can do under the law. Okay? It just can't do anything else. It has no power. It has no power to amend the charter, has no power to do anything other than say to the people, vote on this, decide what you want to do. And it only does that one action once. Everything else that it does are all decisions as to what not to do. And not to do something doesn't require anything. So there's no official act that it takes under the law until the very, very end of the process. So this is a body that sits and deliberates and talks and is unlike the city council. It's unlike the planning board.
I understand that.
See what I'm saying?
I'm not.
So, and just again, clear, we do publish a record of what we've done. There is a record from last year, and there will be one published.
Right.
There's a
There's a
report.
report that's published that lays out everything, including what was looked at, what was not looked at, why it was looked at. And there's a case, go back and read it, Cruz versus Deerline. It comes out of the city of Yonkers that establishes what the city of Yonkers have to do. I litigated that case. So I know how to turn around and handle what the Charter Commission is supposed to do. It establishes the laws. And this commission works within Cruz versus Deerline, which is the leading case in the state of New York on how charter commissions operate. Okay? It's a very informal process. That's what's set up by the state. I can't control who turns around and makes proposals. If you don't like that the mayor proposed something to the Charter Commission, talk to the mayor. Don't yell at these people. You don't like the fact that somebody should have gone to the city council? Fine. You go propose it to the city council. We're not going to stop you. Okay? Bottom line is that if there's something that comes before the commission and the commission doesn't want to move it forward, it simply says we're not doing anything with that. No formal action, nothing to be done other than they do nothing. Doing nothing is not an action. Okay? So these are the proposed actions, and we're going to get public comment. It's been out on the website. It's going to be in the newspaper tomorrow. Comments are going to be held open for written submission to the 23rd, and these two of overwhelmingly complicated amendments, which one of them has a one-word change and the other one is a simple structural change, I am sure that everybody in the city is going to be able to understand when they view them and be able to submit intelligent comments if they feel that they are necessary. So nobody's rights are being trampled, least of all yours.
Can I get an answer to my inquiry, please?
Yeah.
If proposals were sent to the commission by a mayor's officer or however, do I understand you to say that you do address them in caucus or whatever, and if you feel that there's no merit to them, you just simply pass on them and they don't come forward?
The process.
And the other part of that question is, if that is the case, is it public record as to what these recommendations are or
They're
suggestions?
not recommendations or suggestions. They are what you described earlier is correct. The commission chose not to take any action. Somebody comes forward and says, I'll give you a silly example. Somebody comes forward and says that the city of Yonkers ought to be run by a dictator. Okay? You need a charter amendment to do that. The city, if the charter commission says this is a stupid idea, we're not going forward with it, they just don't act. The charter commission does not act. So if there will be a report at the end of the charter commission that will memorialize what it did not do, but there is no official action that it is taken.
But that's what I'm asking. In other words, there will be a report
There will be a
as to
report.
what was submitted and denied or
What was
not
submitted-
addressed.
It's not denied.
Right.
You're trying to.
Not addressed.
No, right, and it is that kind of an action. It's simply, we said, we hear that, does anyone, do we want to take action? And we didn't take action, we didn't decide.
Okay, so just to follow up with that, if I made a recommendation months ago and it was passed on, however it was returned, there is no way that I can address the Charter Revision Commission as to the merits of that, or
That's correct.
that's correct?
That's correct.
I
Because the
cannot.
That's right, because the charter commission decides what items, that's what it decides to do, which items it wants to.
Even without discourse?
That's correct. There's
Okay.
no requirement for a public hearing as to what the charter commission decides it does not want to move forward.
Okay.
And I was going to ask this a little point on the action of doing nothing. When somebody applies to the Supreme Court, they petition, the
not
Supreme Court
action.
declines to hear the case.
But we don't
They
make-
they write an opinion why they're not hearing the case.
Let's not mix apples and
Yeah.
oranges. When somebody turns around and says to you in the city council, we think that there ought to be a law, okay? And you turn around and you say, you know what, I don't think that there ought to be a law. You don't memorialize it, you don't hold a public hearing, you don't issue a written decision, you don't even have to adopt a motion, you don't even have to bring it up on the agenda. It doesn't have to come up. And there's no decision that you make, or there's no action that you take. You might if you want to, but there's no requirement to be that way. And certainly no citizen has any right to demand a public hearing if the city council decides that they want to take action on something. That's exactly the way the process works. This is not unusual. And people don't have the right to force the commission to review a particular proposal or bring it up for public hearing. The commission decides what it wants to bring forward. That's what the law says. And when it does decide to bring something forward, it does. And it puts it out, put notice, hello, okay? And the procedures are set forth in the municipal home rule law. Very simple. They don't even say what amount of time you need for public hearings. There's hardly anything in there.
Just one second, Peter. Are there any more public comments from anyone here? Do you have a question?
I have a point of personal privilege, actually, because my name was called out, and I want to put it on the record, if there is any kind of record of this, that I never mentioned the mayor. And as far as I'm concerned, my understanding when I went to the meetings where the process was explained, a quorum had to be present at the meetings and votes were taken. I just want to put that on the record. And I also want to say that there was a statement made that public input would be solicited with a March 30th deadline. There was never any publication of that written. There was never anything put on the website. It was said it was going to be put on the website. It was never put on the website. I just want to say that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments before I close the meeting? All right, so we will have a public hearing on Monday night at 7 o'clock until we exhaust the comments. And we will convene as the Yonkers Charter Revision Committee on Thursday.